Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. I have my crystal ball off to the side, so I will be scrying throughout this message. If you're new to my channel, my readings are a little different, and if you're returning, welcome back. You know how we do if it doesn't resonate with you. If you're forcing the story to fit, arguing with it in any way, just leave it behind for the people who it's meant for. Channel members, you guys will have your third video in the 5-part book series. We'll post this Sunday, so definitely keep an eye out for that. If you're interested in that or any of the channel membership perks, the link is in the description box below. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's begin. Taking a step aside. And allowing spirit to pass through me. Opening up to receive information. Okay. First, just like yesterday's reading, I feel a very protective being stepping forward. It's showing me a white flower. This white flower looks like a crocus. Okay, so new beginnings, but it's like a beginning that's happening even when things are still cold or frozen. Okay, it's taking me into the idea of saffron, because saffron, crocus is where whose stamens where we get saffron, but that blooms in autumn. And the flower has only 3 stamens that are red. Okay. So this message seems to be about some powerful core or root related areas of someone's life where that red comes in that are being recreated. We have this idea of autumn when things die, so that this old value system or this old way that we interpret or believe something to be within our core identity. So maybe core beliefs are factoring in for someone. This is being laid to rest, while the shift in the interpretation is allowing powerful rebirth in someone's life. Because it's being shown to me in the form of a crocus, which is a rather demure little flower. Demure is the cutest little word, by the way. It's like the shift isn't dramatic, and it's not necessarily out for all the world to see. It feels kind of subtle, internal. And if I were to give an example would be for something we believe was wrong internally, we come to realize is actually a unique strength or ability. Or something that we believe to be the result of trauma is proving that it's actually intuition. Something like that. It's more subtle. It's more on the internal realm for most people. I think it's for most people. For some of you, it could be structural, foundational matters that are part of your identity that are external. But I feel for most of you, this is going to be internal. Okay, I'm seeing this image take place in a forest, so this is happening in a transitional period with someone's life. So between jobs, between living situations, between relationships, while in school, while going through a divorce, while grieving a loss before learning to move forward, something like that. And now they're giving me symbols. So if you're new to my channel, the symbols don't mean that the reading is or isn't yours. It just means that if the reading resonates with you, or if the symbols resonate with you, pay extra attention, and then we'll move forward with the reading. So the first symbol that I'm seeing is a skeleton key. I have a feeling associated with this that I'm interpreting as someone got this at like an antique shop or a flea market or a thrift store or something. There's a watercolor bookmark. So it's a bookmark with a purple tassel on it, and the watercolor image is either a seascape or a shoreline or something. There's peacocks with elephants. Not either or, it's both. So someone is having both of them show up as symbols. And someone has recently discovered the band Pomegranate Tiger, and I'm having a pop-in here of a different spirit. So if this is you, you have a guide that really wants you to learn to work with it because of some kind of musical project that you've been working on. Okay. Cave is important to someone. Wolves as a symbol is beginning to emerge on the periphery for someone, meaning you may not even realize that wolves are a symbol for you until I say this. Because it hasn't entered central awareness. It's like on peripheral awareness. It's not in our consciousness all the way. Someone has recently received a gift in a dream. And someone is having 333 or 3 appear as a symbol, or things showing up in 3s. Okay. Okay. So we have this Knight of Cups, And so this Knight of Cups is kind of like this movement of the subconscious spaces. It's the movement of that psychic energy. And our psychic energy is highly programmed by our beliefs. Now, a lot of people think that psychic energy just means, oh, I feel things and I hear things. Psychic energy is something that we emit, right? It's this very deep layer of the psyche in which deeper communication happens with the universe around us, with people around us. And there's something within that layer that has shifted. So this comes down to our core beliefs. This is one of the reasons why manifestation works. We manifest things based on those core beliefs. And many people, they are not aware of what's knocking around in those core beliefs, because this is a very deep layer, right? When we talk about the psychic layer, this is a very deep layer. And honestly, not everybody has immediate access to it. Not a lot of people find it easy to dive into that layer. And this energy here is telling me that whoever this message is for, you're at least aware of that layer. You're aware of, certain communications that you have with other people and universes around you, and more of your intuitive faculties and deeper dives into your emotions than maybe you typically find within people. Now, with this being the Knight of Cups, the Knight is on the move. So there's something here that's moving. There's something here that's shifting and transitioning. And as this Knight moves, the quality of that cup moves as well. Because remember, it starts off with the Page of Cups. The page is daydreams and fantasy and delusions and illusions. It's very innocent and kind of naive in some ways. And he only understands what people tell him is in that cup. And he only understands what he wants to be in that cup, or what he's afraid of being in that cup. He's still in sort of that sort of mode of living. And as the Knight progresses, the Knight becomes a little bit more brave. The Knight becomes a little bit more strong. The Knight understands how to weave his own direction. And he graduates into this Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups is the one that's really immersed in that psychic layer and in those emotional energies. And she's aware of the things that are taking place within that space, sometimes to her own detriment, because she doesn't always have control over her central core. Now, when it's the Knight of Cups, what it's telling me is that whoever this message is for, you're in this sort of in-between. It doesn't mean that you're necessarily transitioning from that energy of the Page to the Queen. It means that this core identity, this belief, this perspective, whatever it is, that's shifting from the Page to the Queen. So for example, it may be a core identity or a core belief that was really ruled by fear or ruled by our projections of how we wanted things to be. And this is starting to move and graduate. And as we're allowing it to graduate, it's rebirthing in this Queen of Cups energy. And that Queen of Cups energy is someone who really understands exactly the communication that's taking place. So for example, if you are somebody who you experience these moments of intense fear and you think that it's just trauma based, or you think that it's just whatever, and this isn't for everyone. Some of you, that's going to be the case. This is just an example. If you're someone like that, then over time it gets proven that no, actually, this intense fear was a warning system. Right? It was a warning system, and it had to be intense for me to listen. That's the graduating to the Queen of Cups, where we're able to see what's going on in that communication and understand that a communication is even happening, whereas the Page of Cups doesn't necessarily realize that. Someone here, you're in that movement from that autumn crocus into that spring crocus. You're at the tail end, maybe because of some perspective shift, maybe because of some realization. And now as we graduate into this Queen of Cups, we have more control. We're able to do something with this ability now. I just think it's kind of neat too, because if you notice all the white flowers on the bottom there, which is how we started off. And again, this is symbolizing some sort of shift, some sort of movement. We have the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is when energy changes. When we go from perceiving something as a lack or a flaw or something that's wrong or broken, and we move into the energy of, no, this is actually an ability. This is my superpower. This is my strength. This is a whole layer of reclaiming one's personal power that has profound effects on how they move through life. So this is why this reading is coming through. There's this very protective being that's coming forward. Maybe yesterday's reading resonated with you with that leveling up your protection at this time. And it feels a little bit like the reason why this is the type of energy that's bringing this message forward is because as you learn and as you grow, you are being guarded or protected in some way. You can look at it like when a child learns to ride a bike, right? The parent's right there. Like, are they going to fall? Are they going to fall? So if someone is having some sort of fear that they're doing this alone, or that they're doing this, and what if I don't know what I'm doing? There is like this protective energy that is around you at this time. I also am being guided to say something more about this Wheel of Fortune, which had not originally occurred to me. And that is this. The Wheel of Fortune, I've talked about this before on this channel, especially when you go back to the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. When we talk about the Wheel of Fortune, usually there's alchemical symbols inside that represent the three prime materials, right? It's I don't know why I'm blanking right now. So I'm blanking right now on the actual term for that. Salt, sulfur, mercury. And it's really representing the change in the dynamic between the three. There's writing on the outside that is Terra, it's like Tarot, Torah, I can never keep the progression right, but essentially there's like a little story in esoteric circles that this means in different languages broken up when you put it together is everything falls under the law of Hathor, and that's what the Wheel of Fortune means. And when you go back to Hathor, it's this idea of that goddess energy of everything being in its right place, in its right time, working in a process and in a progression, and being in tune with one's natural self before the added layers of labels and identities and beliefs. And so this is what's happening here. Someone is discovering the truth about something within themselves before it was shaded and colored over by particular lenses. Maybe projections of others, maybe projections of yourself. Now the next two cards that are coming out, we have the Five of Swords, and then we have the Death card. And again, we have that idea of seeing something being laid to rest. And what's being laid to rest here, the Five of Swords represents, it can represent the wounded warrior. It can represent someone who's willing to win at all costs. It can represent the grievances that someone has done to us that has caused us to become the aggressor. So for some of you, this may be anger. This may be, the need to try to keep yourself safe and overprotect in some ways. There is this sort of transition of this energy. The thing about it is that whatever this energy is, because these two are coming out this way, whatever this energy is, it's almost like there was nothing intrinsically wrong with it. Again, it was a strength, it was a superpower in some ways. But because we had this lens over it, it was a hindrance. Okay? We didn't understand how to use it. We didn't understand how to channel it. We didn't understand how to make it dynamic and creative, and so it was very destructive. And this is what's transitioning now. This is what's being put to rest by that sort of red crocus, right, in the autumn. And it's moving into this beautiful Knight of Cups energy. So I feel that whoever this message is for, it's like whatever this perspective shift that you recently had is, it's something that is now empowering you. As you've changed your perspective on it, you're using it and funneling it in a more creative way, in a way that's actually going to benefit your life. And this is one of the things that seems to be helping you out of this transition period. So if you did resonate with yesterday's reading, that particular reading was very much about discarding old energies, allowing old energies to pass from us that may have been holding us back through the act of protection. And, raising our vibration through protective rituals, protective mechanisms. And this one is kind of mirroring certain elements of that. I wouldn't say that it has to be for the same group at all, but it's mirroring certain elements of that. So that one will be linked at the end of this video. And I think that there's also something here that's very important about the time period of late spring into midsummer with this energy. It's almost like we start to work with this energy, we have this transition end, and then something about this energy starts to open up, almost like a new ability or a new, if it's external, a new opportunity. So be on the lookout for that as you go forward. And I'm going to leave this here. If this resonates for you, please hit the like button. Feel free to leave me a comment, and until next time.